again. This time in the first round, LeBron James had 23 points in the 110-106 win. The Lakers get a rematch with Denver, who swept LA last season. That was in the Western Conference Finals, Game 1, Saturday night. Here's Darvin Ham on the notion that the Lakers should have ducked the Nuggets.
It was TV talking and stuff. It was that maybe.
Saying what again?
It'd be better off if you guys lost this game to avoid Denver in the first round to play.
Insane asylum sources say.
Sure.
Nah. If you
It
just
wasn't sourced. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was just chatter.
Just someone that just got out of the insane asylum.
Someone that got out of the insane asylum.
Before we ask a question, before we answer this question, I'm going to do something I never do. As you know, Wendy and Doggy, I'm incredibly protective of the industry. But every now and then, there's some weak-ass reporters out there that bring up questions like that, talk TV talk and all of this other stuff. Shut the hell up or ask a direct question. We didn't sit up here and suggest that the Lakers should avoid the Denver Nuggets. What we asked were you going to? Because the Denver Nuggets been whipping your ass. They've beaten you 8 straight. It's been nearly it's been over a year and a half since you've recorded a victory against them. That's what we said. You see, this is the kind of stuff that irritates me about our industry sometimes, which I am very, very protective of. Because I understand that everybody doesn't have the platforms that we have, guys, and I get it. But when you sit up there in front of the coach and you ask a question, could you have the decency to represent the question accurately? People weren't talking about how the Lakers should throw a game and avoid Denver. What we were saying is, would they? Do you have the courage to sit up there and say, they've been whipping our ass and we want them? Or are you going to take the path of easiest resistance? That's an entirely different question than saying, oh, the public, the media out there was saying you should avoid them. They were not, Darvin Ham. I'm reaching out to the coach of the Lakers. Darvin Ham, that is a lie. The media was not. Not that he said that. I'm talking about the person that asked the question. Darvin Ham, the media was not saying you should avoid Denver. We were asking, would you? And that was a legitimate question going into last night's game. That's all I want to say about that. Go ahead, Joe.
Fair enough. Well, Stephen A., no avoiding them now because they're going to face off in the first round. But, Mad Dog, here's what I want to ask you. Watching that game last night, obviously we saw the Pelicans get back in it. Zion, just when he was heating up, unfortunately had to exit the game with injury. With Wendy, he'll give us an update on momentarily. Were you more encouraged or discouraged by that Lakers win?
Well, first off, they got a bad break, the Lakers, when Denver lost to San Antonio because of that, they got nailed with this 2-seed thing. And you can't expect any team to lose a game. In actuality, they would be better. Let's be honest, as a sports fan. They would be better playing OKC than the Nuggets. There's no other way around it. And if you say they lose last night, they get the home game Sunday against Sacramento, or Friday against Sacramento, a game they would have won. Then they get OKC. That's a better match. Let's be fair. That's a better matchup for them. From a sports fan's perspective, they got a rule.
It'll be a better matchup for any team in the league, not playing Denver.
That's exactly, especially for the Lakers, who haven't beaten them, got swept last year. I am more wrapped up right now on the Pelicans. You're right, Lakers. I'll let these guys handle that. How about the Pelicans? They can't beat the Lakers. They got a double-digit lead at the first quarter. They got Williamson playing great. Ingram's second game. They're at home. Huge game. And then they get blown out because they got blown out. They had a good fourth quarter, but they were down 18 in the second half. How about New Orleans show some guts once in a while and beat the Lakers in a big spot? And now they're in a death game here on Friday against Sacramento. So I'm more down on them. But if anybody thinks, Stephen A., if anybody thinks that somehow, some way, because the Lakers figured out a way to beat the New Orleans Pelicans, that they are now going to beat the Denver Nuggets or challenge the Denver Nuggets, that ain't happening. Maybe they'll win a game. I expect maybe not a sweep. Anthony Davis says, hey, we're ready to go. We're embarrassed by last year. Nonsense. Because now it's Jokic, Murray, home court, mile high. See you later, alligator. Denver will win that series easy.
Go ahead, Brent.
That's what I would
Go
say.
ahead.
Yeah, so Zion's going to get an MRI this morning on that leg. This is a basketball tragedy, I believe. This was Zion's moment. He has been working towards this moment for years. He's had so many setbacks. He's really in much better condition the second half of this season. He had worked so hard. Guys, he was going at LeBron James and Anthony Davis and winning. He was getting into them at both ends of the court. He had 40 points with 3 minutes to go. His second career 40-point game in a play-in game on his home court. This is what you want from Zion. You want playmaking on defense and want the ball and taking it to the rim on offense. Can't stop him. It was great. And then he comes up lame, and you could see in his eyes that he knew he was hurt, and he's had these muscle injuries in his legs before, and we'll wait for the MRI before we make any assumptions. But he knew that he's in trouble. And now they've actually beaten the Kings 5 times this year, which is unbelievable that you're 5-0 against them, including the in-season tournament. But to beat them a 6th time, they may have to do it without Zion.
Yeah.
And in this game, it was a very professional win for the Lakers because they didn't have their best stuff. LeBron was exhausted by the fourth quarter in this game. And I'll give LeBron credit. He stepped up and took the Zion defensive assignment for a lot of this game, and he did it on Sunday in what was a much-win game. But LeBron was paying the price by the fourth quarter. His legs were gone. I think he was 1 of 8 down the stretch. Threw up an air ball late, which Anthony Davis, he's dealing with his own back injury. He wasn't having a great night. It was 6 of 16, but he rebounded. The Lakers, really got a great performance from D'Angelo Russell. He made a big steal in the last 2 minutes, hit the biggest shot of the game. Austin Reeves set him up. The Lakers ground this game out, and they're 14-5 in their last 19 games. And their reward, unfortunately, is that beast, Nikola Jokic. I do think that the takeaway from this game is that Zion is getting closer to the guy we want. And Brandon Ingram got benched for the last 7 minutes of this game. His team was all cheering. He's over there sitting on the bench with a puss on his face. That was a problem. He's up for an extension this offseason. That's an issue.
Yep.
And C.J. McCollum got benched for a big part of the fourth quarter in this game, too. This was not a high-level game. This was survival of who could ever hang on. But the Lakers did. They get credit for that.
I got a few things I want to say about this. Number one, I was incredibly proud of Zion. I gotten on him. New Orleans gotten on me. And I had to remind them that they have as many playoff series victories in their 22-year history as they do names. Okay? They want the Hornets, they're not the Pelicans. Those are their 2 names, and they got 2 playoff series victories in 22 years. Shut the hell up and go out there and play. And for the most part, they've done that, especially Zion. He's gotten focused. He got himself in shape. And after another no-show in the regular season finale on Sunday, he showed up, showed some pride, showed some heart, was demanding the basketball, was in attack mode. That dude that we saw yesterday, before he got hurt, is the number 1 pick we've been looking for. Okay? That's who he is. And I loved seeing it. I was proud of him. I'm sorry that his leg is hurt. I think he'll be fine. But if Zion holds on to that, he's got an incredibly, incredibly bright future. I'm talking about that psyche. That's how he has to be all the time. All the time. He's got to be in attack mode because he's a man-child. And you can't stop him. So that was a beautiful thing to see. Brandon Ingram. I'm not giving him the max. And I usually don't say stuff like that because I love the brothers to get paid. I love them to get their paper. I love them to get money. But let me just say this as diplomatically as I possibly can. When you look at his face, he consistently looks a bit detached, dare I say. Just doesn't seem to be all there. And I'm going to leave it at that. Now, let me tell you something. He was gone for 12 games. And I understand that. He had an injury. I get that. And we know that Brandon Ingram is a big-time talent. We don't see it enough. We don't see it enough. And I look at him, physique looks the same, game looks the same, doesn't seem to be growing and evolving. That's hard to invest in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people invest money in you, one part is because of your production. The other part is because they trust that you will continue to produce. And I don't know if the word trust can be associated with Brandon Ingram at this point. He needs to show me something against Sacramento. That's number 2. Number 3, Doggy, let's get to you. And what you said about the Los Angeles, now I'm not disagreeing with you. What you said about the Los Angeles Lakers, let me tell you where I'm going to crystallize your point, Doggy. You waving bye-bye to them. A lot of people are waving bye-bye to them because they get ready to go up against the reigning defending NBA champions. That shouldn't be the case. Anthony Davis is an all-world player. LeBron James has played all-world. Austin Reeves has been thriving. D'Angelo Russell has been thriving. Rui Hachimura, this brother can play. You got Gabe Vincent back into the lineup. You've got some pieces that you could throw in there to spell for these dudes for minutes. The Lakers, from a personnel perspective, is universally recognized as Denver being its kryptonite, but somebody capable of beating anybody else. Well, if you're capable of beating anybody else, why the hell can't you compete with the reigning defending champions? They've waxed your ass 8 straight. What you gonna do about it? Anthony Davis opened training camp. Am I lying, Wendy? Opened training camp and said, yo, we want them. We heard them chirping about us. They beat us and they swept us and they talked smack to us. They came at us. That's why I asked the question going in to that game last night. You gonna avoid them or do you want them? Because it was my way of reminding America. You remember what that brother said? You said you wanted them. You said they were chirping. You said they were talking smack. Now, doggy, you've been around for a long time, Hall of Fame, and you've seen people that perceive to be the better team, but they talked a little bit too much, and they galvanized the opposition, and they elevated the level of adrenaline and ultimately fervor that was coming their way. That's what I want to see for the Lakers. What you gonna do? We gonna get swept again? Do I gotta get broomsticks when ABC shows up to the Crypto.com arena a week from Saturday night? Is that gonna be with broomsticks because y'all down 3-0? You lost 8 straight. I mean, can I go over a list? Let me tell you the last 3 times that the Los Angeles Lakers lost to the Denver Nuggets. Not only did you get swept in the Western Conference, check this out, Doggy and Wendy. Wendy knows that.
Free for all. Sentry gun spotted. Enemy sentry gun Enemy airstrike incoming. Be careful.